Hey, welcome back. It's been a while since my last video. I've been a little busy, but in this video we're going to finally talk about the FindColor command. It's a really important command. In fact, it's probably the most important command in SCAR. SCAR is known as a color clicker, which means that it looks for a color on the screen, and then it clicks it or does something with it. So we're gonna learn how to find that color. So if you want to use any command, if you want to see how to use it, you should always start with going to help F1. Just press F1 or go to help and then help, and it'll open a browser. And what we have to do now is, since we want to use the command called FindColor, just look for it. The easiest way to do this is you press Control F, like a little find window should pop up, and you can type in FindColor. Should bring you right here. And you can see this command, FindColor. And in the last video, we discussed how to know what some of these keywords mean, what the structure of the command is. But if you don't remember that, don't worry about it. We'll go over real quick with FindColor. So this first word, function, means that the command returns something. In this case, it returns a boolean. So when you tell SCAR to do FindColor, to execute this command, it's going to do stuff, and then it's going to give you back a true or false value. So in this case, it'll mean if the color is found or not. So if the color is found, this will return true. It'll give back to you a true value, and if it's not found, it'll be false. Okay, and then the next part, this is the last thing we talked about in the last video, and it's a little confusing. What the var keyword does is it means that these two whatever's after it until a semicolon, these variables are going to be filled in. So you have to give them something, like you have to give them empty variables, and then the command will fill them in as it goes along. In this case, what's going to be filled in is you give it two variables, x and y, or whatever you want to call them. They have to be integers, and SCAR will give you the position of the color. So if, for example, if the color is at the coordinate, if it finds the color at the coordinate 0, 5, it'll put 0 into x, into this first variable that you give it, and it'll put 5 into the second one. Okay, now the rest of these are just stuff that you give to it, either variables or values that you can give to it. They have to be integers. And the first one is called color, and that's the color number. We'll discuss that in a little bit. So you give it a color number, that's the color that it has to look for. And the XS is the XS and YS and XE and YE are like X1, Y1, and then X2, Y2. These are the coordinates of the square in which you want SCAR to look. So, for example, if you want SCAR to look, from this corner to this corner, you'd say, give the coordinates of this corner and then the coordinates of this corner, and SCAR would start searching there. All right, now let's actually see how you set it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little paint drawing in paint, and what we're going to do is try to find a color using that drawing. So I'll just put some random colors here. You add some blue, green, something green, red. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go over here and we're going to actually code it, write some code to find one of these colors. Alright, so the first thing we have to do is remember that we need two variables that SCAR will store the x and y coordinates where it finds the color. So what we do is just define two variables. They can be named whatever you want as long as they're integers. I'm just going to name them x and y just to make it less confusing. And then you can actually define FindColor. You can say if FindColor. Remember that if FindColor returns a boolean value. If it finds the color, it returns true. If it doesn't find the color, then it returns false. So we have to make sure that it finds it, and if then it finds it, we can do something with it. So we'll say if you find this color, and see this thing pops up, and it shows you the description of the command. You can see it's a function. It returns a boolean, which is true or false, and it takes the first thing it takes is x, y, these two variables that it'll fill in. So let's give it x, y. These two variables that we declared, they're empty, they don't have anything in them, we don't care about them. So we'll just give them to SCAR so that it can fill in the coordinates of where it finds the colors. Okay, and then we say, then it asks us for the color. See how it's highlighted? So to get the color, all you have to do is use this little color picker. And if you click on it, the whole screen will actually freeze. And if you move the mouse around, it'll show you the color. If you move the mouse around on the little cross here, you'll see the color number, and then you'll see like coordinates where the mouse is. So 692, whatever. And if you click it somewhere, so let's say we want to find this color, if you click on it, it'll unfreeze the screen and it'll paste the color right here, and it'll also paste the coordinate of where you clicked. So this can be really useful. What we need right now is the color, so just copy it and then paste it, Control C, Control V. And now remember the next four things we need are the coordinates of where we want to search. To make things simpler, we're going to make the paint screen the main screen. If you don't know what this means, go back to the first video. I explained this a little bit. It'll take too long to explain it again. But basically, we're just focusing SCAR on this menu, on this screen, so that 0, 0 now is this corner, and the maximum corner is back here. So now let's give SCAR some box to search in. What we do is use the color picker again, and just pick a point before where you want it to search. So let's just say here, and see how it gives me a coordinate. Just copy, Control C, Control V, and now we gotta give it the other end of the box. So we started here, and we want it to stop over here somewhere. So it'll go until there. Same thing, we just copy, paste it. All right. So let's make it a little easier to see. All right. And if you saw some of my last videos with the conditional statements, I told you that you have to do, you have to compare two things with an equal sign, like this. But actually, there's a little shortcut. If your command returns like a boolean, or if you have a value that's a boolean, you don't have to use this. It just automatically checks if it's true. So if we just do this, we don't even need these. If we just do this, it'll be the same as saying equals true. So this is a little shortcut. We don't have to put equals true. You can just do this. So SCAR will know that this means if FindColor is true, then do something. And so now we have to do something. So what are we going to do? Let's make it click on that area where it finds it, where it first finds the color. So let's say mouse click, and we can say X, Y, and we'll say true. Now notice how I used X, Y here. Well, X, Y was filled in with where the color is. So when SCAR finds the color, it'll fill in X, Y with a coordinate. Then it'll say true, there is a color, and we'll do this. We'll go mouse click on wherever the color was. So let's make it black so we can see it, and let's run it. Oops, I made a little mistake. Okay, let's run it. One more mistake. A little rusty. Alright. See? It found the color right here. It made a little dot. Maybe you don't see it. I can zoom in. See, it made a little dot right there. Now, how SCAR looks for colors, actually it goes from left to right and then top to bottom. So it'll search this row, then it'll search this row, this row, this row, this row, and it keeps going down and right. So that's how you know which color it's going to find. And it's going to return the first one. It's not going to keep going. Once it sees the first color, it'll stop. So that's basically how you use FindColor. You can add other things in here. You can maybe say something, type send or whatever, send keys. And you can say stuff. You can move the mouse there. You can check other things. I mean, it can get really complicated, but this is the basic structure of how you use FindColor. So good luck with it. Have a little fun. Remember that click mouse and move mouse are not devised for RuneScape because they are detectable. Look up SRL if you want to use this with RuneScape. Look up SRL, then you can use FindColor, and you can use some of their commands that are not detectable. Well, I guess I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.